Welcome to Sparkbomb Mansionverse Arena episode 3, where members of the Sparkbomb community represented in character here in WWE 2K19 will face each other. Our first match tonight will be Captain Nebiros, the artist of this channel, up against Sienna Lasair, a long-term friend of mine. Well, I mean, both are long-term friends of mine, but both of them are great people. Tilly in chat saying that her dog went to the vet and is on medication now. That is sad to hear. Now, of course, the story behind Mansionverse Arena is that when you browse the internet, there are many websites, many domains, many places that you can visit. Many of you find yourselves here on Twitch live tonight. Mansionverse Arena doesn't take place on Twitch. It takes place in the Sparkbomb mansion at sparkbomb.com, where we find ourselves in the Grand Ballroom. A nice, sprawling room that Shatterdrift has for his personal dance purposes, but also is currently doubling as the arena for Mansionverse Arena, where members of the Sparkbomb community, found here in chat live on Twitch, found live in the forums, get to be represented in character as themselves. This, of course, is what Nebi looks like in real life. Sienna is, of course, what Sienna looks like in real life, with the addition of beautiful costumes and their cool fighting styles. And they will face each other in the arena according to rules that may be traditionally considered wrestling. After all, this is WWE 2K19, the game with the best character creator out there and AI versus AI matches. Now here, of course, is Sienna. This is what Sienna looks like. I tell you, if I saw Sienna in that outfit, I would want to teach her how to dance. Kinda what Sienna looks like. It's all meant to be as accurate. It's meant to be accurate, but with the with a little bit of touch-ups here and there. Obviously, someone like me does not look very good on camera, but in Mansionverse Arena, I can look great. Moving to your phone now, gonna be lurking and watching. Thank you, Kirby. As always, a shout out to CWO Universe for being the one to help inspire Mansionverse Arena into being, thanks to Sparkbot's inclusion in the CWO Universe. Now, right off the bat, Sienna is taking a bit of an early lead, twisting around Nebi's arm, as our nameless referee sits here and watches to make sure that there are no shenanigans. Now, due to the format, due to certain rules and such, we're still on Mario Kart 8. Thank you, Kirby. I need to change that. Nebi getting a little bit of revenge, pounding Sienna down a bit, going in for an early pin, but it is not enough. It is not going to get anywhere. We'll just quietly change our title here on Twitch and change us into WWE 2K19. Maybe throwing Sienna into against the, I don't even know what the name for the rope is properly anymore, because I am not familiar with the wrestling trappings that exist here. Our category should now be updated. Welcome on in, Ronan. How are you doing tonight? Sienna countering and getting ready to attack Nebi, but missing with that punch, unfortunately. You just ate a snack that had 11 servings in it in one sitting. Wait, Tilly, how does a snack have 11 servings in it? What was it? This is Monday Night Raw, literally. Kind of. I've been trying to get these on Saturdays. They've been more on Mondays recently. They will probably be on Mondays in the long term. So yes, it's a bit of Monday Night Raw. Eventually, we will add more of the game trappings into it. For now, consider it a preview, an introduction, as it were. The matches, of course, count. The wins and losses count. For those who wish to add a bit of story, a bit of plot, a bit of detail to it, you are welcome to do so at the Sparkbomb forums at sparkbomb.com. Better than Raw, to be honest. It's because it has me. It's because here's what makes Mansionverse Arena special. It's the fact that both of the people in the arena right now, both Nebi and Sienna, are active members of this community. They are both people who we recognize, both people who have been here in chat tonight, and it adds extra weight, extra mean to see them face off against each other. 2 tablespoons size servings, edible cookie dough, and yeah, you don't get paid working with cows. Cookie dough. I want some ice cream now. I have some chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream in the freezer. Now, we have taken several of our rules and such from the CWL because Kirby has been polite enough to help out with a lot of these things. It is a 20 count outside the ring for the loss, for however that works. For the words, I don't know. I'm just here to commentate as a sexy voice. I don't really know what else is going on besides the fact that these two lovely ladies are beating each other up. Of course, this is a no disqualifications match, as all of our matches are due to the intergender competitions that are possible. I'm still waffling back and forth about how to handle all of that, but we will figure it out one day. Luna, thank you for the lurkins, appreciated. You mean you're not a pro, but you do know a lot about them and can handle them quite well. I mean, you should get paid for working with cows, Tilly. You are the cow whisperer, after all. Now, if I recall correctly, Nebi is coming off of a... Nebi is coming off of one win, if I recall correctly. Just off of last week. Nebi did beat Kitsune last week. Sienna, meanwhile, going in for a pin. Will it be enough? And our first match of the night is done. Sienna has taken down Nebi. Nebi's win streak is broken. Sienna enjoying this victory, this hard-earned victory against an undefeated member of this community. Sienna made Nebiros her expletive, says Game Enjoyer in chat. Of course, we are still working on some of these victory poses and so on and so forth. We are still learning how this game works and how to make it all happen. So our next match tonight is two long-term friends, both Auhin and Code, from the X Evolution community. For those who are Digimon fans, X Evolution was the premier site circa 2007. A little bit before then, it was not so much after then as it fell into ruin, so to speak. But Auhin is still here with us today, as is Code. I expect to hear some interesting things from the two of them about why they have chosen to fight here in the arena today, or if it was simply a serendipitous choice by Shattered Rift. I don't know which one it was. Of course, the great thing about the Genesis format of the CWL, our sister community, sister show, the show that we are based off of, so to speak, is the fact that Sparkbot went missing in last week's match, and people wondered if the game glitched, if it broke, because WWE 2K19 does have odd things happen in it sometimes. Meanwhile, Ronan's 3-year-old is throwing a world-ending tantrum. Ronan, I hope that you are able to save the world. If not, I'll understand it is a 3-year-old. Absolutely no worries, says Cyprus, because Cyprus understands. Of course, Code, despite being traditionally a Spectre, I believe, is rocking more of a Phoenix style here in his clothes. For those who've been wondering about the 3 user groups, this is kind of the style that a Phoenix would traditionally wear, but of course, not everyone chooses one style or another. Some people try to blend in with others. Personally, I am rather fond of this very stylish look that Code has going on. A little bit of some combat boots, the cargo pants, a nice jacket, that nice pinstripe shirt. Very, very, very stylish. Of course, with the sunglasses, to simply add the rule of cool to it. Tilly mentioning in chat that she has a 5 and an almost 9-year-old, so understands a 3-year-old's world-ending tantrum. Nebi is so behind on the Sparkbomb thread. Things have been slow going in the story. I, of course, encourage everyone to include more story writing in the Sparkbomb thread. Those who do story writing will be prioritized here in the show. We're still figuring out the exact number of matches that will take place each week. We're still figuring out how the format is going to look going forward. In the meanwhile, of course, we are simply making sure that the show is consistent. So we're going to see how Auhin and Code do against each other. Now, these two, from what I'm aware, have fought historically against each other. Auhin taking a bit of an early lead here with some grapples, which, as I recall, grapple is supposed to be more Code's specialty. And Code not afraid to just come back, slamming Auhin into the ground like that. It's on the website, Sienna. It's on the website. It is not on the Discord. One of the things that the CWL does, and that I feel a little bit differently about, I have a different opinion, is that because the CWL takes place more exclusively on the Discord, it's harder to go back and reread a lot of the old promos, keep track of which promos are in which week. It's hard to track people's individual stories, which is something that I want to find a way. That was an impressive move right there, slamming with quite a bit of rotational momentum, the feet into Code. I want there to be a way to more easily track the history, to track the stories, to make sure that this is always about each other. Ooh, that is a brutal move right there, bringing the leg down towards the apron, and Auhin coming in onto the top rope, just slamming that elbow in to Code. But it appears that Code got partially out of the way in time, perhaps. Let Auhin slam into the ring on his own. This is still anyone's match, though. This is still anyone's match. And so for those who want to be featured more every single week, please get in those promotions. Please go ahead and just write whatever it is you want to write about your story at the time, how you feel about your match. Of course, with this being AI versus AI, it is up to you guys to fill in the question of what went right, what went wrong during a match. Much as is the case in CWL Genesis, where week to week, promo to promo, it's all about the story and how you guys play off of it. So of course, for those who want to join the CWL, please feel free to do so. I know I've been talking about it a lot, and that's not to devalue our show that we're doing here. This show is very much about you guys being based off of yourselves. This is, of course, what Auhin looks like in real life. This is what Code looks like in real life. Not necessarily the outfits, but the appearances. This is them. There is truth based here. We do not have a wiki for ours yet. Have I seen the wiki for the CWL is what Kirby is asking. I haven't read it very, very closely. I only glanced at it when I was reading up on Michael Young, who is, of course, a member of the Vindication roster in the CWL, and was helping Sparkbot with some minor upgrades, some minor maintenance that unfortunately caused Sparkbot to go offline for a week and to miss his own recent match. And of course, also part of why the CWL matters so much is that the CWL stories are in fact canon of a sort to the story here. Sparkbot's ever-evolving story in the CWL will eventually lead Sparkbot here to the present, the future, to the relative future to Sparkbot, to help create Mansionverse Arena in the future. How does Sparkbot get from the point of being a scrawny, pre-Super Serum Steve Rogers type into the buff, muscular robot that he is here in Mansionverse Arena? The only way to find out is to watch the CWL. Can we change your outfit, Cyprus? What do you want to change your outfit to, and when? And that's also true. The question is Nebi going to join the CWL so she can track down Sparkbot and pick him up and bring him home at some point? Auhin going in for another move here from the top rope. Oh, perhaps not. Oh, taunting Code to wake up before bringing this home. What's he going to do? Just down with those knees right on the face. Oh. That did not look happy, but Auhin is not done yet. Auhin's going back up to that top rope again. Oh, just landing with the feet right there. That's something that if Auhin had landed wrong would have hurt him quite a bit. This is probably it. I'll be impressed if Code gets out of... Code did get out of this one. I can't believe it. Nebi, of course, rolling up to the CWL in a mom van, picking up the robot son from soccer practice. Code has been taking a pounding tonight. I would not expect Code to show any mercy on Auhin. The two have a very healthy respect for each other from what I'm aware, but I'm very surprised if Code is going to give up that easily. Of course, he is not giving up that easily, but I have to wonder what's going to finally break one of these two. Code going in for a submission hold. Will it be enough to make Auhin tap? It was not. It was not. Such an accurate move, wasn't even facing the guy. Look, the moves in this look how they look. If there's any weird glitches in game, any graphical oddities, we just blame that to the imperfections of the mansion. Code going in for a pin. And impressing us all by taking the win. Code took a pounding and still brought the win out at the end of the day. That is what happens here on this show. That is the things that we have come to expect. Offhand, I cannot recall if Code won or lost last week. I believe he won last week, but I could be wrong. I don't want to mistakenly say something. I need to be keeping track of my own matches better and better. It will happen with time, of course. You're surprised here the beating you took? Look, Mansionverse Arena is always anyone's game, and that's what you have to keep in mind. It is always anyone's game. Now, this next match is one I am extremely excited about. Of course, I myself am somehow in two places at once, both commentating for myself while also facing the one and only Durf in the ring. Thank you, Kirby, for saying that I look great. Now, Sienna pointing out something in chat is that in real life, wrestling is choreographed ahead of time. The stories are written ahead of time. Part of the joy of Mansionverse Arena, part of the joy, of course, of the CWL is that anything can happen. What the CWL motto is, whatever happens, happens. Same thing here in Mansionverse Arena is that anyone could win. Anyone could win. I could win right now, as I should, as I'm showing off that sexy booty right there. Or I could lose to Durf, which has never happened in real life, but might happen here. I definitely need Fandango's entrance. Kirby, I'm still learning. Like, I've barely got a handle on, like, character creation and move sets. Barely. I haven't worked on arenas yet. We're still doing just, like, the generic stuff right here. Of course, I forget if Durf won or lost her matches last week and the week before. Unfortunately, I don't have the records up in front of me. I need to keep track of them better. Fandango has a dancer gimmick. Okay, I'm gonna need to check into that. Half of the characters in this show are created by me. Half of them are created by Captain Nebiros. I did forget to put somebody in our lineup for tonight. Ooh, I just remember that we have one person who needs to get added. Just a nice lineup, so I'm gonna try to fix that for a second. Thank you for that reminder. I need to get on top of things here. We are not professional here. Mansionverse Arena is evolving week by week. Go Cyprus. Durf, I mean. Of course, enjoy that little dancer spin I did before we got started. Now, Durf, of course, is a fraction of my size. And I'm just showing off that fact by lifting her up right off the bat. And just laying right into her, no hesitation whatsoever. I fully plan to destroy her tonight. She's going to be lucky if she comes out of this in one piece. Now, fortunately, Mansionverse Arena is a virtual reality setting, as it were. It's a virtual reality setting, so don't worry about Durf's health. Don't worry about the realism or lack thereof in this immediate brutality. Because the idea, of course, is that this is happening live in the Sparkbomb website, in the Sparkbomb mansion, as if it were a fictional world. I, of course, am going in for an early pin. I'm not quite sure what's going through my mind as I do that because, you know, of course, Durf just kicks right out of it. This is looking like a squash so far. Note to self, if you get into a fight with Rift, don't hesitate. I mean, it's AI versus AI, Road, and I'm just sitting here watching it happen, unfold live. Oh, Durf going right for the soft spot. Durf is not afraid to deal the punishment back to me right now. I cannot say that I approve. I'm quite impressed with how long her arm is able to be for that assault on me. And I do live by the Cobra Kai rules. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Ooh, rip Rift streams. It's fine, I didn't want to be a father someday, right? Now we're taking things outside the ring, and Durf does seem to have gotten the better of me initially, but how are things going to follow up here? Durf just seems to be throwing me back into the ring, content to handle things on the softer mat of the ring itself. Although she is slamming my head into the ground. Now, Durf might think that I'm a little bit big-headed and might be trying to deal a little bit of punishment to me here. Don't mind the graphical glitches on Durf. Unfortunately, her undershirt is showing out through her jacket on occasion. It happens. Ronin's judo sensitivity was very Mr. Miyagi in terms of focus and training. So Ronan, you said you were not able to pick up 2K19, so I'm gonna be creating a character for you, correct? Oh, I'm about to. Now this could not be a comfortable position for Durf at all. She does not look like she'd be able to bend to that extent. That could not have been good on her arm. Okay, Ronan, let's work on that later this week, hopefully. Get you in for the next game in like 2 weeks. Now, I don't know how Durf's knee was able to reach high enough to catch my head, but she pulled it off somehow. Durf going in for a pin of her own. I'm not, yeah, I wasn't expecting that to take me down. I am very eager to beat Durf. I have quite a bit to prove. Countering that headbutt right there, no problem with my elbow. And now just picking her back up and flipping her. Oh no, I'm going in for a... Whatever I was going in for, it was not enough. Durf countering it and taking me down onto the mat. That is not comfortable on my back. Oh, and she is just rubbing my face into it to insult me. I'm gonna get back at her for that. I fully plan to get back at her for that. As I was saying, kicks to the gut. Oh, this is some nice feisty little back and forth. Durf, of course, has a very big ego. She is very humble, but also has a very big ego. Very, very feisty. The question is, have I knocked the steam out of her sails? And I have not yet taken the steam out of her sails. So Sienna, as far as teabagging goes, funny story. Sparkbot's tag team partner, Will Sheridan, actually did teabag his opponent on accident. Because I think it used a taunt at like the exact right moment that accidentally made it into a teabag. Protect the tie. I can take a beating, but the tie can't. One of these days, Cyprus, Nebby's going to give me a better tie on my character. She has learned how to do so. And we're just waiting for it to happen. Now, will I be able to take Durf out now? And in fact, I will. I did so. I am the winner. Durf never had a chance. Come at me, bro. No, the teabag of the CWL was such an amazing accident. It was a great tag team match. It was perfect. It was beautiful moment. Beautiful moment. You want to fight me next, Sienna? Sienna, if you want to fight me next, you've got to make the post on the forum. Got to call me out. Write it into life. Winner gets a boop. Thank you, Cyprus. Our next match is the one and only Tilly Froot, who is here in chat, the cow whisperer, the greatest rancher of our time, best country girl there is, also a streamer here on Twitch. Of course, we like to shout out all those things that we can about people. If I've forgotten to shout out anything proper against people in previous stuff tonight, I apologize. But this is Tilly. This is what she looks like in real life. She is, of course, a beautiful, beautiful lady. Do enjoy. And her opponent tonight is going to be the one and only Sparkbot, who was absent from last week's episode. Strangely, was also absent in last week's CWL match as well. And those boots are nice, Ronan. Those boots are indeed nice. Meant for walking all over Sparkbot. Now, I've said it before tonight, and I will say it again. The CWL Genesis is canon. Is canon to Mansionverse Arena in the sense that somehow Sparkbot is going to go from scrawny, sort of pre-Super Serum Steve Rogers type to this lovely beefy bot we see in front of ourselves. Part of that transformation will begin on this Saturday's episode of CWL Genesis, hopefully. Hopefully, I don't have a guarantee on that, but I'm looking at you, Kirby. I'm looking at you. But Sparkbot will one day look like this, both in the CWL and here. Buffbot is indeed here. Sparkbot is ready to take on all comers. And did my update to Sparkbot's appearance not save? Sparkbot's eyes should look less menacing now. I apologize for that. Sparkbot's eyes are supposed to be meant a little bit friendlier. Or do we call him Thickbot? You can call him whatever you want. He is here to win and to help. Possibly one or the other, I'm not sure. Sparkbot, of course, in the CWL, only to help. And Tilly showing her impressive strength by pushing Sparkbot into the corner, no problems at all, but neither one taking the advantage quite yet. Family-friendly Sparkbot. And are we just going to go into the same situation again where the ref's just going to have to get in here? Perhaps one of the wrestlers in chat can tell me exactly what's supposed to be happening there. Probably Kirby, since he understands the game mechanics better than I do. Tilly getting in the first actual attacks, finally deciding to just lay into Sparkbot, since going into any kind of grappling competition is not being successful. Ooh. Tilly using those boosts to just flip Sparkbot over, no problem whatsoever. Sparkbot is already scrap metal, Rex Pedantic. Ooh, Cyprus, how dare you? How dare you? Now, I've said it before tonight, and I will say it again. This is still anyone's match. Tilly is taking an early lead, being very impressive, laying a lot of punishment right into Sparkbot off the bat. But Sparkbot is the more experienced competitor out of the two. Sparkbot having months of experience in CWL Genesis prior to this moment, as well as matches that we haven't even seen take place in Genesis yet. We don't understand quite how the time travel shenanigans here in the internet work exactly, but we know that they do. We know that while the CWL universe is in Sparkbot's past, at least at present, this is relative to Sparkbot's future, even though it is simultaneously our present. I don't know, it's part of the magic of the internet. Don't ask me how it works. Tilly just stretching out Sparkbot there, going in, stomping all over those parts. Oh, Sparkbot missing that mushroom stomp. Well done, Tilly avoiding it. Going into a drop kick on Sparkbot's booty. A surprisingly flat booty, in fact. I probably should work on Sparkbot's booty a little bit to teach him some Latin dancing. Not that it's the best idea in the world, but that's what it is. Previously, Jen, welcome on in. This is Sparkbomb Mansionverse Arena, where members of our community face each other here, AI versus AI style, in the ring. This is the one and only Tilly Froot here in chat right now, a fellow streamer facing off with Sparkbot, the mascot of this channel. How are you doing tonight, Jen? And of course, Mansionverse Arena is open to those who come in here regularly, who are active parts of the community. You are, of course, welcome to be a part of it, Jen, if you would like to be. I'm just trying to get a few people added every couple of weeks or so. You're tired of going to bed? Jen, I appreciate you coming in on your way to Dreamland. Now, Sparkbot seems to have finally be getting the upper hand against Tilly. But now simply just standing here for no clear reason, letting Tilly have an opportunity. Be careful, Sparkbot. Ooh. I don't know if Sparkbot glitched out there or what exactly happened, but Sparkbot does not seem to be planning ahead here. But Jen, you have a good night. Thank you for dropping by and saying hi first. Sparkbot going to slam Tilly's head against the apron here. And of course, Sparkbot knows that the whole goal of all this is to please the crowd. It's always to please the crowd. And Tilly is treating Sparkbot like the cows. That's right, Tilly. Sparkbot is just a big blue cow. Ooh. That clothesline right to the throat. And Sparkbot going in for a pin. Sparkbot, of course, experienced enough to know when to go in for a pin. But Tilly is not done wrestling yet. Even though you mainly yell at cows. And of course, once again, the music in our background right now is from Street Cleaner's Annihilation album. This is actually the song Annihilation. A bit peaceful for all of the chaos that's going on here in the ring. Sparkbot is satisfying the crowd's thirst for violence. Now, of course, that crowd represents all of us here in chat. Ooh. Tilly going in hard against Sparkbot and going in for this pin. Will it be enough? No, it's not. Sparkbot is not done yet. Cowbot activate. Tilly egging Sparkbot on, demanding he get back up on his feet. And now apparently just ready to choke him out with those thighs, with those boots. And Sparkbot does not know what to do, simply flailing as he is often to do. Can Sparkbot find a way to recover from all of this? He is not looking like he is in good shape at all. Thank you, Nebiros, for the exclamation mark help command. Tilly going in for a pin, that ref being a little bit slow catching it. Perhaps buying Sparkbot enough time to get out of it. Tilly evidently a little bit frustrated with Sparkbot's recurring efforts to get out and going in for another one of these chokeholds. Sparkbot just flailing, not knowing how to get out of it, not knowing what to do despite being in this position just a few moments ago. This is Sparkbot, Zulu. This is Sparkbot. Accurate feelings? I'm glad, Tilly. I'm glad. Sparkbot finally getting a counterattack in. Will it be enough? No, Tilly being able to reversal that just fine. And Tilly dragging Sparkbot into the center of the ring. Is she going in for a pin? No, first she is going in to just drop her leg on Sparkbot's throat, egging him to get up once more. I don't know if that was the wisest choice before going in for this pin, but we will find out. No, it was not. The leg chokehold is sick. Yeah, it really is. Oof. Sparkbot just taking more and more punishment to his head. From what I'm aware, ooh, Tilly just stretching out Sparkbot's arms. I don't think Sparkbot is meant to bend that way. I don't think his parts are meant to go that far back. That can't be good for Sparkbot. Tilly wrestles animals every day. A tin can is no problem, says Sienna from the audience. Sparkbot is able to successfully get out of it, though. What will happen next? Ooh, an elbow to Tilly's face. But Tilly knows how to fight back. This is a very back and forth moment. Oh, Sparkbot going in for that headbutt, and apparently laughing it all off. I don't know if Sparkbot has gone mad, if his parts are working correctly. Evading that kick by Tilly and going in for another headbutt. And Tilly's shouting out in the ring, "You are going to do what I want." But Sparkbot has her in a pin position. Is enough? No, it's not. Tilly's still in this. Sparkbot, do not bend my parts. Some fights go long, Sienna. Some fights go short. We're just gonna have to see what happens. Tilly just flipping Sparkbot over onto his back. Going for another drop, taking that leg across Sparkbot's chest, cracking the display panel perhaps. And now just taking Sparkbot down to the ground like he's a cow. Sparkbot still seems to be doing all right. Still seems to be functional, still seems to be fighting back. You know, one of the questions that people wonder is, can Sparkbot experience pain? Ooh, Tilly going in for that Hurricane Rana. Flipping Sparkbot down to the ground, and Sparkbot trying to roll out to try to regain his bearings. Ben Space thinks that Tilly is just playing with Sparkbot at this point. Perhaps not. And Cyprus thinking that Sparkbot may be trying to summon the MedicBot subroutine in order to get himself back up and running again. I don't know. Now remember, while Mansionverse Arena does use the wrestling rules of pinning the shoulders down for 3 seconds for victories, pins outside the ring do not count. So all that is going on right now is just a lot of punishment, especially with every hit to the ground. But Tilly apparently content to throw Sparkbot back into the ring. Will she opt for a pin? No, Tilly is building up for something special. Will it be enough to bring Sparkbot down? Flipping Sparkbot over, kneeing into the face and just shoving him on down before going in for the pin. This is probably it. We just have to see for sure whether it will or won't be. It's not. Sparkbot kicking out at the last second, surprising us all. You've got to wonder what's going through both competitors' minds right now. Sparkbot apparently is still having a bit of energy left in his circuits, but also backing into the corner for a second, winding up something. A wind-up punch. And Sparkbot going for a pin of his own. The question is, does Tilly have enough energy to kick out of this one? Is she still okay? Sparkbot taking the win. This is just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, do not underestimate your opponent. Do not ever underestimate your opponent. It is always anyone's game. The winner is the one who is able to pin the other successfully, despite how much damage is or isn't done. Sparkbot doing a strange robotic moonwalk of sorts out of the ring. Now our next match of the night is going to be Game Enjoyer versus John B. Now we finally learned what the B in John B stands for, and we will see in a few moments. But Game Enjoyer, perhaps Game Enjoyer wanted to be the one to welcome John into things. Perhaps Game Enjoyer is taking some issues with John's choice of attire. I'm not quite sure. But Game Enjoyer, of course, a veteran of the ring, knowing the moves, understanding things better than any of us here, myself included. It's already game, set, match, says Sienna from the audience. And why do you have to be the one to put John over, Game Enjoyer, you're asking? I don't know. That's just how tonight's matches lined up. It's just how tonight's matches lined up. My goal, of course, in the match lineup is to create a match that people can create some matches that people can be excited about, to help you guys get to know each other better, and to also get you all fighting as big a variety of people as possible. No. We don't spoil John and MotherofOdin against each other as their first match. No. That's not fun. We've got to build up to that. Sienna kind of wants to rumble with Mika. We will see if Mika ends up joining the Mansionverse Arena or not. Now, I'm not sure if it's me, John B, if the B has always stood for Bunny or not. I've speculated over a lot of time the many possibilities for what the B stands for. But here, it stands for Bunny. Effigy, welcome on in. Block counter, block counter. This is AI versus AI. tonight. So we'll see if they take to that lesson or not. Now, I'm not sure if JonBunny took a page out of Sparkbot's book and is trying to be a secondary mascot, if this is some new advertising for Talk Ltd. Of course, let's go ahead. I forgot last round to shout out Tilly Froot, who of course is here in chat. So Tilly was in our last match, and of course for this match we are going to shout out Talk Ltd, the best talk show on Twitch, with hosts John and Courtney. Now, Courtney will be featuring in a match later tonight. For now, we get to watch as Game Enjoyer welcomes JonBunny into the ring. I don't know about anybody else, but I can't quite take this seriously. Now, Game Enjoyer going in hot right off the bat. Obviously here to see if John's outfit is just for show or if John knows what he's doing. And John is indeed showing that he does have some techniques, that he does have some skills, but Game Enjoyer ready for such rookie moves. But it seems that John is ready to prove himself against Game Enjoyer, perhaps. I don't know, of course, what the competitors are thinking exactly. I can only speculate. The only way to find out for sure is for those who have posted in the thread on Sparkbomb.com. Bed in Space is scared for Game. Well, we're gonna see what happens. Ooh, a drop kick right to that bunny tail. I'm not sure what that bunny tail is made of, but I'm glad that it is still nice and fluffy after that drop kick hit it. They keep copying each other's moves. So Sienna, the way this works is that some of the moves are going to be kind of universal between a lot of characters, and then I'm also still learning a lot about movesets, and so some moves will get repeated across several characters. It's something I try to avoid when possible. I try to make sure that each character has their own distinct style where I can. It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss. Game Enjoyer going in for an early pin. I'm not sure if he thinks that John might get put away easily or quite what, but it is not enough. Ronan finally showing up to see JonBunny and to just have the reaction that one should have. Just like, what? Holy poop on a poop sandwich. No, it's fine, Sienna. Here's the thing. I'm still learning. Are we gonna get waxed out Ronan soon? I hope so. Definitely Ronan is on the list of people to add to this. I do not have anyone else, I think, on the list yet to be added to things. If I've forgotten anybody else who is supposed to be getting added, please do remind me. If anybody in the community would like to be added into this, please let me know. The requirement, of course, the expectation is that I do want all characters to look like your real life counterparts. This is, of course, what John looks like, just in a bunny suit. And this is, of course, what Game Enjoyer would look like in a Letterman's jacket. And that's what I think really sets Mansionverse Arena apart. Is that if you want the fictional storytelling of a made-up character, go to the CWL. 100% join the CWL. Also join the CWL anyway. It's a great time. But of course, if you want to be here, I want everyone in chat to be everyone in the arena to be recognizable. I want it to all be somebody we know. I want us to enjoy seeing Game Enjoyer against John B tonight, as we are getting to see right now. It's the spitting image, says Ronan. It would just be Ronan's arms all smooth. I mean, you can add hair to the different body parts, Ronan. Game Enjoyer going in for an impressive bit of a back somersault of sorts into a kick into a pin, but it's not enough to take down JonBunny yet, and Game Enjoyer seems a bit distraught by that. But Game Enjoyer does seem to, perhaps I spoke too soon. Game Enjoyer does not quite have as much of the upper hand as I thought. Game Enjoyer rolling out to the apron and pulling himself up. Will John B take advantage of this? Not quite. Going for some sort of a grab or something, and Game Enjoyer just jumping back into the arena. Jumping back into the ring. Oh, and it seems that Game is going for one of his signatures, I believe? What will Game Enjoyer do? Ooh, going in for that flip and into a pin. Was that a moonsault, Game, or am I getting them mixed up? And it's not quite enough to put away JonBunny yet. Not quite enough. The many dramatic tantrums and meltdowns the AIs have cracked Cyprus up. Ooh. Game Enjoyer ready to lay in even more punishment. If the pin wasn't enough, Game Enjoyer's going to find the way. 450 splash. Thank you, Ronan. I am still learning the names of many of these moves. I am still learning how to do things. Of course, when I am determining characters' movesets, for those who have not given me anything to work off of, I simply go for what seems to fit their personality and what looks cool. The outfit is blinding, says Bed in Space. Ooh, John successfully getting a counter in. How is John going to follow up on this? Just slamming Game's face into the turnbuckle. Now, of course, those who are familiar with Talk Limited understand that one of Talk Limited's shows is a very sex-positive show. And while this channel is very, very family-friendly, we can see that JonBunny is quite comfortable in any outfit, in any position, and very much is practicing what he preaches here in the ring. And this looks incredibly punishing right here with these thighs just all over Game Enjoyer's head. I'm surprised Game Enjoyer can still move his neck after that. That did not look pleasant at all, nor did that grab right there. Will John be able to put away Game Enjoyer? Not quite yet, not quite yet. And John is now the one who's distraught. I think John was expecting to finally have it right there. And Bed in Space saying it right there in chat, that was indeed a long thigh lock. John charging up something, getting ready for something impressive. Is Game ready for it? I don't think Game Enjoyer is ready for it. This might be it. What will John go in for next? John going for a pin? This might be it. To all of you at home who know Game Enjoyer proving that he is indeed a veteran of the ring, and John very, very frustrated. Very frustrated that he didn't have it yet. This is still anyone's match, ladies and gentlemen. This is still anyone's match. Game Enjoyer calling out to the crowd, making sure they're even more hyped up than they already were, but John is ducking right under that clothesline. I can't take my eyes off of this, ladies and gentlemen. I can't take my eyes off of it. That move is called the One Night Stand. I think that's why it's included in John's moveset, Kirby. There are a few fun moves in here that are included simply for the names. Game Enjoyer does not appear to be doing well, and the question right now is just, can the game hold on long enough to find an opportunity to counter John, or does John have it? I think we're about to find out. If this pin might be it. It's not. I don't think John knows what more he can do, but he does have one more plan up his sleeve. Will it be enough? Just lifting Game up, throwing him back, and this. I think this is it, ladies and gentlemen. I can't imagine how Game Enjoyer is going to get out of this one. It's just been too much punishment time and time again. But I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I don't know what else to say. Welcome on in, Angie. Welcome to Mansionverse Arena, where members of this community of chat are here fighting each other. We have Game Enjoyer in the ring right now, in the Letterman jacket on the ground, against It's Me, John B, who is not here tonight, but is a friend of this community in the bunny outfit. Once again, I mentioned that if anybody in chat would like to join in on a future episode of Mansionverse Arena, the expectation, of course, is for those who join that you are based off of your real life self. This is what Game Enjoyer looks like. This is what John B looks like. Ooh, Game Enjoyer coming on back. Perhaps Game Enjoyer does still have this. Will he go in for the pin right now? No, he's going in for even more punishment. Game Enjoyer is ready to put John B away for good. This is Game Enjoyer's plan. I can't imagine it being anything else. The question is John done, or does John still have it in him? That was a beautiful back and forth match, ladies and gentlemen. Finally coming out with a win for Game Enjoyer, welcoming It's Me, JonBunny, into the ring. I hear members of the audience, both cheers and boos in equal measure, both two very beloved competitors out here. And Game Enjoyer taking that W, taking that win, bringing it on home. As the music to Street Cleaner plays in the background. Our next match tonight introduces Skyfire Sage, the man who got me into streaming, the person who I have to place my money on, up against the woman who I would like to place my money on, Dami Mommy, also known as MotherofOdin 808. The chairman is Kirby, but he's not named Kirby. I mean, here's the thing, Kirby. If you want to come into this as the chairman, as long as it looks like you, I'm okay with that. And if you want to add in like that bit of lore, I'm cool with that. And yeah, there is no expectation of anybody like celebrating one competitor or the other or anything else. Part of the fun of this, of course, is that we get to see members of this community facing off with each other. And so perhaps it's the person you want to see victorious. Perhaps it's the person you think has the better outfit. Skye looks awfully nervous to me. But perhaps that's just part of the design that Nebi gave him. Skye, of course, in his signature chef outfit. Also, I believe based off of Randy Orton's stuff, I believe, was the instruction that Skye gave me. So perhaps that's what I am reading too much into right now. You hope I gave Skye a powerhouse move set. Skye has to be Randy Orton. I'm pretty sure that was what Skye asked. Let me double check and confirm that really quick. And due to my own lack of knowledge about wrestling, I have no idea what that means or doesn't mean. Yes, Skye asked me to copy Randy Orton stuff. Also going to message Skye, letting him know that if he's around, he is live Mansionverse Arena right now. Orton is more of a technical wrestler, such a waste. And Cyprus saying that she does not think Skye looks nervous at all. So perhaps I'm something misreading into it. I don't know. Skye's looking like he's about to cook somebody. That's probably the plan. Skye, of course, can make a better meal than anybody else in the arena. Now here, of course, we have the one and only Courtney, known by the nickname of Damiami, MotherofOdin 808, showing off a sexy outfit, perhaps the sexiest outfit we have of anyone here in the ring, representing from Hawaii, the first of multiple of hopefully several Hawaiian wrestlers we will have here in Mansionverse Arena. Game Enjoyer would be too nervous if he had to face MotherofOdin. He'd probably be distracted by her beauty to focus on fighting. Another outfit, of course, made by the one and only Captain Nebiros here in chat. And we're gonna see who has it. Now, I've been told, do not underestimate how scrappy a fighter Courtney is. But it seems that Skye is the one getting the first start off, and trying to put some of his imposing size to work. Now, I'm not sure right now if the two of them are trying to grapple or if the two of them are just getting a feel for each other. It's hard to say. It's hard to say for sure. Courtney, of course, the other host of Talk LTD here on Twitch, the best talk show on Twitch. Skyfire Sage, the man who got me into streaming. I don't know who. I mean, I personally have to root for Skye here, but I'm excited to see this match regardless. But remember, size differences don't always matter. Courtney was able to flip Skye over just fine despite his imposing size. Courtney is small, she is scrappy, and she is not afraid to get in there. As we can see right now, just having no hesitation to just lay into Skye. Tripping over him as much as flinging him around, but Skye not afraid to just pick Courtney up and throw her around and go in for an early pin. Ronan, of course, has to root for sister. It's understandable. All of the Team 808 members have each other's backs from what I'm aware. They all stick together. They all have the great love for each other. I mean, just look at that. Skye just squats down and then he is Courtney's height. Like, it's just there's no. The size difference here should be completely unfair, but this is Mansionverse Arena, where size does not matter, where gender does not matter. Until 2K19 decides to have some weird glitchiness to it, then occasionally it doesn't matter. Now the question is, what's going to happen out here outside the ring? I can't imagine either competitor is too afraid to get their hands dirty. Although much of that has not been added into the programming for Mansionverse Arena quite yet. Size does matter for lifting moves at this time. I've been debating whether to turn that off and do arcade mode, or quite what, but I decided for now to leave all of that in, Game Enjoyer, asking a very important question in chat. Because the reason why we all come here is for the fighting. It's to see our favorite people who we know here on Twitch. Let me shout out Skyfire Sage as well. Skyfire Sage has not had much time for streaming recently, but I hope that he will have some time in the future to do so. Game Enjoyer saying there's a mode where Cyprus would woman handle Skye. There's a setting called arcade mode. It's not a game mode, it's one of the settings, which I believe turns off the weight detection. And of course, what happens normally, as I understand it, is that there's all of the moves that will happen if the weight is within a certain range. And then there are the moves that get defaulted to if the weight is not within that range. Courtney coming in here showing off her athleticism, her flexibility. And going in for that pin. Will it be enough to take Skye down? Skye has been known a time or two to get distracted by beautiful women. Ivy, welcome on back. I was wondering what happened to you. I'm glad you're here. You did miss out on Mario Kart. Ooh, Courtney taking Skye into a... No, only getting the 2 count off that position, unfortunately. I had no idea that Skye was that flexible. That's the thing that's truly impressive to me. Oh, I forgot to shout out Game Enjoyer. Thank you, Cyprus, for being on top of that. Game Enjoyer, of course, also from earlier, also a streamer here. The plan for Mansionverse Arena, of course, is as people get added, as this reflects our real appearances, our real looks, I do want to use this as a promotional tool to let all of you be seen, let all of you show yourselves off. Skye apparently is taking a moment there to show mercy and show off to the crowd and let Courtney get a free hit in. I apologize for that, Game Enjoyer. Game Enjoyer, of course, a retro streamer who takes primarily a retro streamer, but he takes many requests on his channel. I forget if Game has a current game on his docket. Hopefully he does. But do be sure. Remember, all these people are actual people. This is MotherofOdin 808 here on Twitch. This is Skyfire_Sage here on Twitch. You can check them out for yourself if you like them, if you want to get to know them better, if you want to interact with them more. Your official game schedule is empty, but you have a plan for tomorrow, Game Enjoyer. Okay. There are some Street Cleaner songs on this I have not paid attention. I'm only like listening to now for the first time, really, and I'm just like, this is some strange music to have here in the background for Mansionverse Arena. But of course, we do like to support the musicians and stuff who are in here. Courtney just bringing a Skye down, and Courtney trying to go in for a bit of a choke here with the legs and thighs, but Skye's sheer size makes that a bit difficult. I can't imagine it's comfortable by any means. You know, they've said those thighs have killed a man before. That Courtney's thighs have killed a man before. I don't know if that's true or not. Perhaps I killed a woman instead. I don't know. And you do intend to confer with Emmy Kong and perhaps try Fire Spots again Thursday if we figure out a way to make it work. Ooh, that red flash on the screen there is showing that Skye has in fact taken quite a bit of punishment, a bit of blood on his face. Now remember, that's not real blood. This is just a simulation here in the Sparkbomb mansion. But this does mean that Skye is in very bad shape. He has taken quite a bit of punishment, and Courtney gearing up for something here. Just going in with those legs, flipping Skye over, and going in for a pin. This might do it. I don't know if that's some tomato sauce Skye has on his face from his latest cooking plan gone wrong. Skye is successfully kicking out of it, though. Remember, this is still anyone's game. It is still entirely possible Skye could come out of this and be the one to win. Never count someone out. The blood is a setting, Bed in Space. The blood is a setting. I've decided to leave it on for now. I think it adds something to this. Ooh, Skye going in for a pin. The question is, will his sheer size keep Courtney down? It did not. Don't underestimate the power of those legs. As we can see, even though Skye has taken a lot of punishment, even though Skye is in very bad shape, he is still... Ooh. Oh, this does not look comfortable in the slightest. I don't think Courtney's neck was meant to go in that direction, to bend that way. Skye, what are you going to do next? We want to see you follow up with something here. Don't simply stand there. Perhaps Skye was just taking a moment to recover himself. Perhaps he is in such rough shape that he isn't necessarily able to follow it home as quickly as he would like. Ooh, just laying a fist into Courtney while she is up there atop of the turnbuckle, and now getting ready to bring her down. Oof. Her neck has not been happy after tonight. Skye is a chef, as Sienna is saying in chat. He is simply letting the food rest before doing more. Perhaps he is. Will this be it for Courtney? Not yet. Not yet. Skye not happy with that referee at all, but more than happy to ask the crowd, what do they think? Did that count? Did that not count? Comments in chat, please, and in the YouTube comments down below. Ooh, Skye going in. Oof. Now, I don't like to use the term manhandle lightly, but that's certainly what that looked like. Skye's certainly taking advantage of his size over Courtney. But as Bed in Space is saying, perhaps the food is not ready yet. Perhaps Courtney is not ready to eat yet. Also, some nice debates in chat about which move was being, whether it was an RKO or a Bulldog, and I don't know the answer offhand. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, Courtney is not out yet. She still plans to win this. Still, ooh, coming in with the Hurricane Rana, jumping up off that rope. Having to climb up the rope due to her small size as she went, but this might be it for Skye. It's not. I keep on speaking too soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep on speaking far too soon. You know, Courtney's giving up something else that could be another finisher, but we just don't know. Oh, Skye cannot be comfortable in that position, or perhaps he's extremely comfortable in that position. I don't know which of the two it is, but Skye did get out of it. And yeah, as Ronan is saying from the audience, do not underestimate Courtney's tenacity. She has enough fight in her to make up for several competitors. Now we're gonna get another look at that move that Skye used earlier, it seems. So we're gonna try to figure out, is this a Bulldog, is it an RKO? I don't know the difference, so I can't tell you. And Skye going in for that pin. The sauce leaking all over down Skye's face. Still not, Courtney is still not ready to have a fork stuck in her to be done yet. This just keeps on going. No twisting, not an RKO. So it's just a Bulldog. Except that Ronan's still debating it with Game Enjoyer here in chat. Oof. Skye's massive weight landing down there on those pads over the concrete. Is it enough to actually absorb that impact? Not really. That was not comfortable by any means. Perhaps Courtney has given up on actually winning this match and has simply decided to beat Skye down out of sheer frustration. I don't know. It's hard to say. Now, is Skye taking her over to the apron to slam her head down? It seems he is. Now, Kirby is saying that it is an RKO. And so that appears to be our final ruling on this until perhaps Shadow Drift checks the actual moveset to see what move Skye was using. But that won't be happening anytime soon, because right now we are still watching this match. We are still, ooh, that foot right to the face. Will it be enough to put Courtney away? No, it's not. No, it's not. This is still going, ladies and gentlemen. This is still going. Skye clearly exhausted from preparing this meal. Indeed, Courtney has survived 2 RKOs off of the top rope. I don't know how she's done it. All I know is you do not underestimate a feisty Hawaiian woman. That's all that can be said. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whose game it is. These two have to be completely exhausted by this point. And it seems Skye is going in for it one more time. I guess he thinks that third time is the charm. Sienna, some of these fights go long, some of them go short. It's hard to say. There's not really a way to, unless we put in an artificial time limit, which I'm not really fond of the idea of doing. Will this be it, ladies and gentlemen? It's far too difficult to say. Both of these two have to be exhausted. It's not the end yet. This is still going. We are still here. We are still watching this match. If anyone decided to use this match as a chance to go to the restroom or to get some concessions out of random chat lounge, You have only missed the ongoing punishment these two have delivered to each other repeatedly. Skye is not willing to give up. Courtney, as feisty as the day she was born, I assume. I was not there for it, but I can only assume. I can only assume the legends are true. You know, we've really got to wonder, was that some fake blood that Skye brought out onto his face? See, look at this. Look at this. It's still going. It is still going. The two of them just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I mean, the people wagering money on this match have got to be nervous because of the fact that this just keeps on going. It doesn't stop. Sienna thinks the ref is bad. I hear that the ref is based off of Sparkbot's program, but unfortunately does not look like Sparkbot as we might hope. Skye getting choked out by those thighs, by those legs, to his stomach. That can't be comfortable in the slightest. Those thighs have done things that are completely unspeakable. They have done a great deal of damage to countless competitors and non-competitors alike. I don't have words anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have words. We are just watching this ongoing punishment go on and on and on. And this is, of course, a reminder that whatever happens, happens, as per the CWL motto, what we are based off of. Things just keep on going. Skye and Courtney not willing to give up. We could be here all night. I don't know. I mean, there's still a match after this one. This is really making in for what could have been our feature match tonight, but we still have a match after this one left to go. But there is no time limit. We wait until someone wins and someone loses. And that is just how this goes at the end of the day. Game Enjoyer pointing out that MotherofOdin cannot even get her legs all the way around Skye. But maybe it's just my personal opinion, but Skye's midsection does not seem to be built for that kind of punishment regardless. The amount of bruising that Skye has to have around his waist by the end of this match, that's got to be terrible as a chef. You know, as a chef, your goal is to be able to make delicious meals and to be able to even taste test your delicious meals. And one of the worst feelings in the world has got to be, you know, swallowing that delicious bite of food out of a meal you prepared and having your stomach simply be sore because of all the punishment you took during a match. The Skye is not done yet. She doesn't need to like wrap her legs around him. His neck works just fine. Courtney did indeed try to go for his neck. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just sitting here assuming that Courtney's gonna kick out, and there it happens. There it happens. I believe this is now the longest match in Mansionverse Arena history. Perhaps Courtney wanting to maximize that time to advertise Talk LTD. Perhaps Skyfire Sage wanting to make up for lost time where he himself was not in the arena in previous weeks. I don't know. Sienna, by all means, make some man versus food jokes here. Nebiros in chat losing her mind. Will this be it? Skye finally going down a very hard-earned win by MotherofOdin, winning her debut match of the night, making up for the loss by It's Me, JonBunny. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know if I have it in me for our feature match tonight. This has been so impressive, so hotly contested. Courtney having a well-deserved victory celebration here in the ring. Our final match of the night tonight. Bed in Space called out Cyprus the Witch in a promo, requesting a cage match, but unfortunately Sparkbot was not able to locate a cage. Well, he did locate a cage, but unfortunately it was for a much smaller animal. We actually found a cage for a cat, but unfortunately Ninja Cat, as usual, missing in action, and so I don't know what Bed in Space was thinking. Ronan, thank you for continuing that gift sub you got from Mika. Did we not see an alert off of that? Are our alerts not working tonight? And so, unfortunately, we will simply see the match of Bed in Space against Cyprus the Witch. Why did our alert not go off? For those watching on YouTube, I do, of course, have to mention that we did have a continuation of a gift sub by Ronan from the gifts that started with Mika. Thank you, Ronan, for that. So can we get some hypes, Rift Pogs in chat for that subscription that for whatever reason my alert box has not been wanting to work since I updated some of our notifications. My apologies on that. And yeah, this call out happened in the forum. Now, Bed in Space, of course, rocking those critter images on the back of his bathrobe. Now, again, this is a reminder for those of you who write plots in the thread at sparkbomb.com. You have a much higher chance of getting the matches that you desire. You have a much higher chance of being featured in additional matches. There were a couple of competitors in our lineup, in our roster, who were not included tonight. Both Datsukai and Kitsune, mysteriously absent from this week, in part to keep this time down. Because as you can see, we've already gone for an hour and 15 minutes on this, and we're still going for this final match. One of these days, we will have a more standardized, more finalized way of doing things. But of course, we are prioritizing those who are active in the community, those who are active in the Discord, those who especially who are active with actual plotty goodness. And now we get to see Bed in Space against Cyprus the Witch. Bed, of course, rocking that Sparkbomb logo on his robe, wearing that face mask, supposedly to cover his identity. Both these competitors, much like those who have come before, look like their real-life counterparts. And of course, we do need to give the shout-outs to both Bed in Space and Cyprus the Witch 06. Bed in Space has been doing a lot of Beat Saber as part of an exercise routine. He likes to draw birds on stream. The graphics on Bed's outfit here in game were all made by him. Bed is I think the only person so far to have his character be made by himself, and to do, of course, a very impressive job with it. Cyprus, meanwhile, does some early morning Saturday streams. She has been playing her way through Scarlet Hood and the Wicked Wood, a lovely, charming game that was discovered on this channel as part of the Let's Try series. And the question now is simply which of these two is going to take the dub? Which of these two is going to come out ahead? Bed did step on a flower in front of Cyprus, something that I'm told that only Shadow Drift has gotten away with and lived to tell the tale. So the question now is, how will these two do? Cyprus going in for an early pin, and Bed, despite his weakness to female competitors, being able to kick out of it just fine. There has to be a lot of pressure on these two after the match of... after our previous match of Skye versus MotherofOdin, to properly show off, to properly give a good showing, to show that they indeed deserve the feature match tonight. And so we can only hope that we will see something very impressive from these two. Game Enjoyer saying you have to wonder about a show where the two competitors in the main event are both winless. Here's the thing, Game Enjoyer. This is not like traditional wrestling. This is all about the love that the community has for the people who are in the matches. And so even though the two of these two have never won a match before in their competitive careers, one of them will tonight. One of them will break that loss streak. Perhaps it's Bed with that Hurricane Rana. Nope, Cyprus kicking out right away. Cyprus showing that she is still good. Game Enjoyer, I appreciate the teasing. I appreciate the teasing. Because here's the thing, I don't come from a wrestling background. I watched like this much wrestling back in the 90s. I recognize a few wrestling names, but most of what I know about wrestling I've learned from Kirby, from the CWL universe, and from you, and from like a tiny bit of research through this game, through watching a few things on YouTube recently. Ooh, Cyprus going in and laying on a bit of a pounding there. Bed crushing Cyprus just like he crushed those flowers. No, Cyprus, you seem to have the upper hand right now. You seem to be doing okay for the moment. Now, there was a rumor in chat earlier tonight that Cyprus was wanting to update her outfit, and I am curious what Cyprus had in mind. Like the fight from Shrek says, Sienna used the chair. Now, it is possible to add in weapons, to add in other stipulation stuff. Bed, of course, wanted this to be a cage match against Cyprus, and we will be adding those things in the future, but we are not quite there yet. Bed being very aggressive there with that throat slitting motion. And Cyprus just trying to pick herself back to her feet, but being able to get just enough out of the way to avoid Bed before he goes in for that slap. And now putting Cyprus into a bit of a bear hug, and Cyprus is just short enough that her feet, flail though they might, cannot reach the ground. Ooh, will this be enough? It will not. Just the 2 count. Cyprus is not giving up that easily. You will be Rift Rage. We'll see. We'll see, Cyprus. Bed apparently taking a moment to focus himself, gather his thoughts, to try to determine what to do next. Perhaps showing a moment of mercy on Cyprus? I'm not sure. But Cyprus not so keen to show any mercy in return, slamming Bed's head down repeatedly into the mat. Yeah, remember, Cyprus is very, very feisty, accurate to your life. You know, the thing that you really have to remember, that was an impressive move right there that Bed did, but appeared to completely miss Cyprus for whatever was meant to be done. I'm actually quite curious myself, as I need more dance moves in my repertoire. Now, Bed putting Cyprus up on the top rope, that's a bit high up for her. And just we're applying several knees over and over again before just kind of hucking her over his shoulders. And indeed, Cyprus is angry both in the ring and in chat right now. Did Bed find a way to dance with Cyprus? I need that move in my own lineup. Cyprus seems to be just hanging on for dear life at this point. I don't know if her anger is enough to carry her to victory. But she does appear to have slapped Bed in order to get out of that pin. You heard Cyprus likes to dance? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, Bed. And I'm the person who should know the answer to that question. Let's see what Cyprus has in her right now. Just slapping Bed and going in for a pin. I don't think that'll be enough, but yeah, just throwing Cyprus off just fine. Cyprus kicked out of his sister Abigail. Yes, she did. Game Enjoyer. Yes, she did. Cyprus sizing up Bed and trying to find a way to victory still. Just delivering kick after kick after kick. Sorry for that slap, says Cyprus. Don't be sorry. Look, whatever happens in the ring happens in the ring. But that is not enough to put Bed away, and Cyprus does not seem pleased about that at all. We can only wonder what's going to happen next, and which of these 2 competitors is going to go ahead and break their loss streak. Both of them certainly seem to be putting in an impressive effort, though. Bed showing off a bit of athleticism here. Also taking advantage of how light Cyprus is. Cyprus may well be the lightest competitor here in Mansionverse Arena. Offhand, I'm not sure if that's true. Ooh, Bed showing off more athleticism and going in for a pin. Will this be it? And it is. Bed takes the final win of the night here in Mansionverse Arena Episode 3. Cyprus weighs less than Durf? Yes, Cyprus weighs less than Durf. Game Enjoyer. Bed simply taking a moment to go cross-legged in the ring to reflect on this victory. Hard fought, hard earned. Cyprus continuing her loss streak. Bed perhaps contemplating where his next match will lead him. I don't know. Of course, if you would like to join at Mansionverse Arena, we try to have a match, an episode every couple of weeks. We only request that you use your real appearance, and you confer with myself or with Captain Nebiros to help get yourself included in it. Until next time.